Thank you. Get a coat hanger here. There's a nice little cabinet. Put your stuff in. Got a remote. Got a whole charging section here. Cabinet inside. And you got your armrest. All your documentation. Nice little cubby here. And then when it's time to eat, this bad boy comes out. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, get that pineapple fried rice.
Down in Guam, where the local time is 4 minutes after 6 p.m., we have crossed the international midnight. Now Sunday, July 7th.
I just landed in Guam. It's 6 p.m. on a Sunday. Took off at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. on a Saturday, so lost the whole day and have about a 12-hour layover. So I'm gonna go to the apartment and then come back and fly to Saipan. host of Mr. Brown, Tasty Boys from Japan, I think. I know it might be made in Taiwan, but very popular in Japan. No problem. Just filming it. I'll try the iced caramel latte, I think. Yeah.
Would this be all for you?
Yes.
1464 at the windows, please.
Thank you. All right, so this Chinese company, Imperial Pacific International, was granted a 40-year exclusive rights to open this casino in Saipan. The head of the Imperial Pacific Group was a well-known Chinese investor, and they were scheduling to open this as a massive undertaking. 2,500 rooms, and it's just going to be this huge, extravagant venture, with the company already stating that they were investing $343 million at the time in 2014. So construction started and everything seemed like it was going on pace. 2015, everything was relatively normal. 2016, they opened Best Sunshine Live, which was like a temporary casino. And somehow they raked in about $5 billion in revenue from 190 slot machines and 70 table games, roughly, in 2016. 2017, there was a 43-year-old Chinese citizen who had died working there, and the FBI ended up investigating and found a bunch of labor laws and visas were being overstayed. These Chinese workers were coming to Saipan because you can go to Saipan as a Chinese citizen for 2 weeks on a tourist visa, while these tourists, quote unquote, were actually going to work at the IPI, and allegedly they were having their passports taken from them and they were working against their will, so, pseudo slave labor. And here's where it gets kind of interesting. The FBI was investigating these Chinese nationals working against their will, and the whole time IPI's raking in money from their temporary casinos. And IPI is no slouch. They end up getting a stacked roster on their board. The chairman is Mark Brown, who's a former executive with Trump's casinos, if you've heard of his casinos before. They had former CIA Director James Woosley and Eugene Sullivan was a former senior military judge. And then they also had Louisiana governor, or former Louisiana governor, Haley Barbour, and also a former FBI director and former Pennsylvania governor as well on their board. So they were absolutely stacked. And for a Chinese-backed company opening a casino in Saipan, it's kind of interesting to have that stacked of a roster for their board. So from the outside looking in, it looks like the casino was doing really well. And then all of a sudden, in 2019, they reported $41,000 in gross revenue. 41,000, that's it, for the entire year. Whereas the year before was 44 million, and then the year before that, 68 million in gross revenue. And then they wrote off about 10 billion won, so 1.3 billion US in player debt, and then kind of just wiped their hands of it. The board director just stepped down. Mark Brown said he had family issues, and then the whole thing just dissolved, and IPI still owes Saipan a bunch of money for their gambling licenses and a bunch of promises they made, and then everybody just disappeared, and the money's all gone now. As we do this slow aerial sweep up to the casino, I want you to take note of the general repair of the roads and the buildings surrounding this giant megastructure. That's kind of why I was so infatuated with it, because the roads are barely finished, the buildings are mostly abandoned, and yet at the very end there's this huge, almost Egyptian-like structure. So where we sit right now in 2024, there's really no current plans to finish the casino or the hotels, and all that promise looks like it's just going to go unfulfilled. And all the money that they owe Saipan is probably going to go unfulfilled as well. And the crazy thing is that they were investigated by the FBI for potential money laundering, but nothing was found, and there was no arrest made either. OSHA did end up fining the workers, or finding the company for the workers. It kind of went under the radar because they just wanted this whole thing to go away, and it went away because nobody knows about it. And I honestly had never heard of it until I went to Saipan, so now you know. So interesting conversation. It's weird, they kind of still treat this place like it's going to be opened anytime soon, but it's perpetually going to be in the courts. And even though things are auctioned, they're kind of held. So I guess we'll find out. But my suspicion is that this is all just going to be rubble one day. But I mean, such a cool building. It's kind of a shame of what this place could have been, but given the infrastructure around here, it was kind of doomed to fail, or at least fail for the vast majority of people. So on one side of the street you have a massive $200 million casino bringing in billions, allegedly, and then on the other side you have roads that aren't really finished, crumbling infrastructure. Alright, so I arrived at the unique destination I had found out from my coworkers. This is an old abandoned radar tracking station from the Air Force from assume World War II. I mean, could be from the 80s as well, but yeah, this whole place is all abandoned now. Ain't going in there though, that's creepy. Alright, so I might have cheated a little bit. I got two things that I've already had before here. The salt bread and then the Danish. But I don't care. These things are amazing. Got a hazelnut latte, which is not usually like me either, but they look pretty good. I'll try them. And then the giant strawberry croissant, which is gonna be way too much for me to eat, but I'm gonna try to eat it first. Very good, strong. Pretty sure they use Saipan blend coffee. So I'm gonna go after the one that I haven't tried before. The whipped cream is homemade, much bigger, much better difference. Strawberries are good. Everything's pretty perfect with this, as I expected. Now we're gonna go after our Danish, I believe. Very similar to the croissant, flaky layers, cream, strawberries. But last time I had it, the non-strawberry part was kind of dry. But let's see if it's the same. It's a huge piece. Very similar. The outer, like 10% of it, it's kind of dry, but any part in this middle is strawberry cream deliciousness. Just organize all this, the mess. I may have had both now. Definitely prefer the croissant. The pastry on the other one, it just isn't quite as good. The salt bread. Think about this. You hear that? It's got a perfect texture on the outside. A little bit of salt. But on the inside, it has, I don't know how they do it exactly, but it's like a whole string of butter, stream, river, however you want to call it, inside. So it's got a really crisp texture on the outside. Salty, buttery, and just bread. I mean, nothing wrong with bread. I think I figured out why the salt bread speaks to me. It reminds me of, if you've ever had saltine crackers and butter. I grew up with that. It's delicious. It's kind of a struggle meal, but it's also delicious. This bread is like, kind of like a struggle bread, but really, really good. Perfect, plain, salty, buttery, like a saltine cracker. So I will never stop getting these now. Some closing thoughts while I sip my hazelnut drink. So far, nothing here has been bad. I'm also not explorative enough to try absolutely everything. Maybe I should. Just come in next time and just grab one of everything. Just gotta make sure I don't trip down these stairs as I'm walking out. Oh. Place is very busy as usual. The other thing that's amazing about this place is that it is literally connected to, well, next to the hotel. So while the hotel may not be the best around, it's definitely has its perks. It's in the shadow of the massive casino. It's a Saipan store right next door. And quite possibly my favorite bakery in the world. So we will we'll definitely be coming back. Actually, this trip has changed a little bit. I was supposed to go to Guam for a week and then go back home, but now I have to come back after Guam. So I will be exploring the bakery more. Still getting my salt bread, and probably upgrading to the strawberry croissant now. But we are walking up to the hotel right now, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.